can get started. Yes?
Yep.
We're going to keep it nice and short today to give you enough rest during lunch break also, because in the afternoon we'll have another nice swim session too. So, yeah, hear that laugh, know what's coming. So my job is a little bit to teach you a little bit about the brain right now, because the brain is what controls everything that you do and everything that you don't do. In your body, in your mind, it's all connected with your brain, right? So the brain is like the big boss that is coordinating everything in your body, right? So to make you understand a little bit how complex that thing is, I'm sorry for my drawings. I'm not sure I should have asked for the whiteboard for that. That's the brain. So if you imagine all of the cells that you have in your brain, and then all of the cells that you have in your spinal cord and in your peripheral nervous system. So I'm going to just draw some peripheral nerves for you to imagine. If we would put them all in one row, what do you think how long it will get? And the ones who have been here in August, they may remember this number, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna make you say it, but try, like who is courageous enough to make a guess? How long will that line be if we put all of our nerve cells in one line? Don't be scared, yeah.
I'm going to take a rough guess and say like 10, 50 meter swimming pools.
All right, that sounds already really good, and I'm happy that you're courageous enough to take a rough guess like that. So who thinks more, maybe?
Oh, so it's going to be more.
Yeah, but it's a good guess to start with, you know. Usually the people start with, they try to see maybe 5 meters or something like that. So it's already really good guess. Yeah.
I'll guess like 20.
All right. 20 swimming pools? Or 20 meters?
20 meters.
20 meters? So you see the direction I'm asking of you. So who's bidding more?
Right, you know what, screw it, I'm gambling.
Yes?
The size of the UK.
The size of the UK. Now we're slowly getting there, you know.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see, I'm still trying to pull higher numbers from him. Anyone wants to go? Want to give it another guess?
Russia.
Russia, yeah, we're getting there. So
Go ridiculously high and a little higher.
yeah. So let's say, okay, if that's Russia somewhere there, maybe the UK somewhere here. All right, how about we circle the Earth? Could you imagine that? That you could circle the Earth with your own nervous system if you put it all in one line? Okay, if you can imagine, good, because it's not once that you can circle the world.
3 times. Oh, okay.
And it's not 14 times, it's 145 times that you can get around the world with the nervous system of one human body, which is quite impressive, yeah? Agree? So try to acknowledge that complexity that you own. It's within you, it's within every one of you, right? And it's not more than legitimate that we can't understand everything to the core with something that is so complex, yeah? So that's why our brain, it has one part that is conscious, that's about up here, and all the rest of it, it works unconsciously. So it works if you realize it or if you don't realize it, if you remark it or if you don't remark it, it just works. Right? It's a background program that goes on and on and on and on and on. You have about 10% that you can reach consciously and about 90% that work for you in the background. Also, if you focus on a specific movement, say you want to do a really nice strong pull here, 10% of your brain's energy will go into that movement. Even if you concentrate as hard as you can, if you put all the energy that you have into that one movement, still it will not be more than 10% of your brain's energy that goes into that movement. All the rest of the energy is being kept or held for your autonomous nervous system. So all the things that need to go on without you thinking about it. One special thing about this is our breath. Because our breath, I'm gonna write it down, yeah? It's actually something that is going on automatically without you having to think about it. Automatism, gladly. But it's one of the mechanisms that works autonomically that you can take control of. And that is very rare. For example, your digestion is one of the things that's always going on. It's always providing you with energy because you're using the food and getting what you need from it and putting it in your bloodstream and stuff, right? So even if you think about it as hard as you cannot digest your apple any faster, right? So you can't make things happen with your digestion if you consciously think about it. It's different with your breathing, and evolution has made this specifically for that. So you can actually adapt your breathing the way you need it. We have the option with our breath to actually transform the state of our nervous system. If we inhale really fast and a lot, and in a specific rhythm, we get a more sympathetic nervous system activity. This is fight and flight mode. So for example, if you're before a race and you're just feeling tired or in front of a training, right? And you feel like you just can't find that energy. A thing you could do, for example, is breathe faster and try to get in a lot of air. So try to inhale a lot, try to focus on your inhale. The other way around, if you're being really nervous, for example, and you're trying to look for a way to calm down, or for example, you can't find your sleep, you're in your bed, you're dead tired, but you can't sleep, try to exhale. Work on your exhales. For example, try to double the time of your exhale in comparison to your inhale. It will give you the chance to get into parasympathetic nervous system mode, and that is what calms you down, what brings you away from that fight and flight mode, yeah? That is just two very simple examples of how to use our breathing to affect our nervous system. There's many more, and we'll dive into that in some of the mobility trainings as well, on how to use your breath, right? Another thing I want to enhance when you think about the complexity of your nervous system and about the conscious part of it and the unconscious part of it. The conscious part of your thoughts, for example, if that is being a thought pattern that is pulling you down, that is making you smaller than you are, that is maybe, boxing you somehow, not letting you move freely and not letting you reach all of your goals. If that happens already in these 10%, guess what's happening in the background program? Exactly the same, but with much more force, right? You can turn that around actually. And David and Yul gave you a really nice bracelet about that. So what we speak is what we create. And it begins even a little bit further, what we think. Like our thoughts, they become words. And our words, they become actions. So you need to start on how you think of yourself. So what's going on in here, it actually matters. And it actually becomes a fact. Not from the very first time that you think the thought, but if you choose that pathway often enough, that pathway will be really strong, right? So usually, I will spare you that. Usually I draw like a forest now. And I tell you to imagine like a Bolivian farmer that is being led out in the middle of the jungle with just one machete. And they tell him, okay, find your way out. That's if you think a thought for the first time. That's how hard it is for your brain to let that happen, because your brain likes routines. So if you have a thought pattern that you have thought about 200 times already, or you have a new thought that you want to think, believe me, your brain wants to run in that direction of the 200 thoughts, right? And it's going to be hard work for your brain to actually follow through with that one new thought because it's new. And with every step, it needs to ask, oh, does that really make sense? Do we really want that? Does it really like help us in any way? Is it really good for me? So your brain actually asks all these questions, and as soon as there's one no, it's like, oh good, glad, let's leave that aside. We have our routines here, let's walk in the routine, right? We don't want anything new. So sometimes we need to teach our brain to think in a new way. So that Bolivian farmer who is stuck in the jungle with his own machete, like he has to fight with every hit he takes to make room and get through those leaves. I don't know if you have ever been to the jungle, but it's hard to make your way through it, right? If you just have one machete. So, but the second time somebody comes with the helicopter and brings the second farmer to the Bolivian jungle with another machete, he's gonna be lost too. Well, he's gonna see, oh, that's kind of a path there, like somebody went through there, so he can kind of start going behind that, and it will be a little bit easier than the first farmer, right? And for the third farmer, it will be even easier, and the path starts to get wider and better settled, right? So you can walk on it, and at some point it will be like a street, and you can easily walk through it, right? And that's the same that happens in your brain. The first time you think something, it's hard, like it has to find its way, it's maybe going to get lost and not even reach its destination. But the more you think exactly the same thing, it will get stronger. Your brain will not resist anymore. It will not ask every time, do we really want that? Or is it really good for me? It will just do it. And it will be a new automatism that is working for you. And that's what we want. We want these 90% to be in your favor. That's like as if you were swimming and you had a little motor behind you that is like pushing you forward all the time. So you want your background programs to work for you, not against you. So start by choosing one thought you want to enhance. It should have something to do with your training or your swimming, or with you doing something that is challenging for you. So I'm going to give you a bit of time right now just for everyone, for themselves. Choose in what direction you want to change your thinking and in which area you need more power. Where do you need more support of your unconscious mind to push that thought forward? Maybe it is something that you always tell yourself where you keep yourself small, something you tell yourself you can't do, something you tell yourself, oh, he's always doing it better, or I will never be as good as her, or I don't know, some comparisons you take maybe, or something maybe your parents told you, or something you told yourself not to believe in, or someone else did. Try to observe that in your own thinking and try to change it now. As a first step, try to find a phrase in your head that actually works for you, right? That is in your advantage, if you think so. Now, David said something important yesterday. Make it, David behind the camera, so make it something you can at least remotely start believing. All right, don't say to yourself, I'm the beauty queen of the whole world and I'm gonna win this tomorrow. Like, take something that you can relate to and that is something you can start to believe, right? If I'm gonna tell myself I'm gonna be, I don't know, a soccer superstar in 10 weeks, it's not gonna happen, right? And I'm not gonna start believing that because I'm not working towards that. It's not my goal, it's not what I am, right? So it has to connect to you. But it should be a little bit more brave, a little bit more bold than you would usually think, probably. Try to find that phrase for yourself in your head now. And get familiar with it. So if you found it, you can already start repeating it a few times. And try to get comfortable with the new thoughts.
Make sure that everybody finds something, that they don't skip it. You know what I mean?
I can't look in their head,
Yeah.
but I guess it's another thing that you will learn in the years that you are passing right now, the teenage years, the young adult years, that you're not doing this for us, right? You're not doing it for your parents either. You're not doing it for your coach at home. You're doing it for yourself, right? So if you do it or if you don't do it, it's up to you. But I suggest give you that head start and do it for yourself, right? There's nothing you can lose except for a thinking pattern that is not serving you. So try to really implement it in your own thinking. Okay, I'm gonna come in here once again, and I'm gonna suggest for you a second phrase that I want you to think about, and this should have something to do with one of your weaknesses. So something that you think of yourself you can't do well, or not well enough, or not as good as you want it to be. Maybe it's even a slight disability, something that you have never done in your life yet, that you just never managed yet to do it. Bless you. And try to observe your usual or your regular thinking pattern that you have around this topic. So maybe, David, are you up to like make an example with me?
Yeah.
Can I use you?
Sure.
So you can even just stay behind the camera and just be there. So if you could be so open to tell us something that you think is one of your weaknesses, or something that you think is something you just don't feel super great about.
I overthink things all the time when I'm alone.
All right. So you just said also what you think about yourself in that moment. You think you overthink when you're alone, right?
Yeah.
So can anybody give David a suggestion how he could start to change the way he thinks about himself around that topic? How could he start to change his thinking? Yes, Alex.
The most important thing I've been taught in life is to everything it evolves around organisation, and it would be useful tip is to make lists. So when things are meaningful to you, instead of trying to achieve something in one go, you want to break things up or set yourself, I guess, levels you progress through to eventually, because if you're able to track your process or monitor how you go through certain development stages, you will eventually solidify that progress more as well. And by overthinking it, otherwise you'll rush yourself, or just mentally you might not be in the right headspace.
All right. So he could like tell to himself, for example, I will structure my thinking when I'm alone, to start to change that, to not make the problem the only thing about the situation. I overthink when I'm alone. That's the only outcome there is. Okay, he could like have a strategy and say, I structure my thinking when I'm alone. I start to use lists and goals and to cross them off once I'm alone, to structure my thinking, to not go down that deep.
So to think intentionally about the things I want, instead of just letting the brain go and start worrying.
Exactly. So that would be one strategy to come closer to a more efficient behavior, and also something that is serving you, right? Anybody have another suggestion what he could add to his thinking pattern?
What would a girl do?
How could he move his own kind of thinking to a more positive way in that way? If he thinks, oh, every time I'm alone, I'm overthinking, and that's not good for me. How? Yeah.
I just like try and do something.
Yeah.
All the time, so just make sure there's not doing nothing. Like just doing that stuff.
So actually, keep yourself a bit busy. Don't have too much open space for you to go into the overthinking. So you could say, I will keep myself busy with taking care after my daughter in the evening instead of overthinking, right?
Yes.
For example. So that's also a strategy, as Alex said as well, that gives you an example on what to do right now, right? So it wouldn't even have to be something you need to do in that moment, but just to think about yourself differently in that moment, right? So you could also say, I have a rich treasure of thinking. Like I can actually have really deep thoughts, which is something good. So he could also start wondering, where could he use this deep thinking? What is it good for? Where does it serve him? And where can he adapt this ability, right?
Flip side.
Flip side, is that? Okay.
I'll leave it.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give you another short time period for yourself. Please go into your own mind, go into your own thinking, and try to observe about something that you don't feel so confident about, something that you think you can't do so well. If there is a thinking pattern that you could change in some direction, try to take one step into the direction of a thinking pattern that actually serves you.
I got one for you.
Yeah. And I know it might be hard to do this thinking work now because you guys are tired, you already had the swim training and you're probably hungry and you just want to go to lunch. Just try to give yourself that moment to dig in, right? Again, you're not doing it for us, you're doing it for yourself, and it can give you a push. It can turn your weaknesses into your superpowers if you handle them right. Yeah? Okay, so I'm not gonna make you say it, but make sure you work on it. Remember, that was now the first time that the Bolivian farmer had to go through the jungle with that thought. Make sure you send another farmer soon, before the leaves grow and the path is hidden again, right? So make sure you roll the next ball into that direction very soon. Maybe even before lunch, right? On your way down, maybe think it once again and try to pave the road in that direction, yeah? Okay, one last thing before I let you go to the lunch break, which I want to say about this brain, nervous system, body communication that I would like for you to understand, is that it's a two-way street. It's always communicating, brain and body, and it's very simple way. There's an input, there's an analyzation, and then there's an output. This means the input comes from your body to the brain. That means we have like 1 million different receptors, is what they're called, all around our body. We have them even on the skin, we have them around the organs, around the bones, around the muscles, just everywhere in our body. They send information about the body and its surroundings at all times. So in every millisecond, a lot, thousands and millions of these information are being sent up to the brain. Up there, all these information are being brought together and analyzed for the best output to be created. So after the analyzation, your brain gives a command what the body has to do. Also every millisecond that's happening, right? That can happen consciously or unconsciously. And to make the output better, which is also your movement, which is also your swimming, that's also an output. Your input must be good. If your input is shit, I'll say it like that, then your output will not be good either, right? So your input needs to be good. That means your brain needs a lot of information from your body. So for you, that means to warm up, for example, before a training, to actually activate your whole body. It's going to be something called body mapping. We're going to do that in the afternoon to get those information up and to actually get your systems ready, right? So for your swimming, you also have a lot of vestibular work with your ears, with your eyes. And I think Dave, you posted something about Phelps once when he lost his goggles during a race and he swam amazingly anyway, right? It was a really important race, can't remember which one. But that happens if your input is great, because then your eyes don't even need to be there and need to send information on where you are, because your body knows it already. So you can actually lose your goggles and have an amazing race anyway. Right? So we want to work on that as well. Good input gives you good output. All right. So for now, that's all. Thank you so much for listening. You had very good attention for that you were already in the water for a long time. Well done. All right, now it's